Do you have tight hips and are looking for stretches to help release the tension once and for all? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jessica, an athletic therapist teaching you strategies and tools for living a healthier and happier life by staying injury and pain-free. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. So first things first, how do you know if you have tight hip flexors? Today I'm going to show you the Thomas test, and this is how we can evaluate if you have tight hip flexors. Because sometimes it's actually not that the hip flexors are tight, it's that they're weak. But if we do this test and it's positive, then the stretches that I'm going to show you today will be super helpful. So let's start with the Thomas test. So if you don't have a treatment table, lie on the edge of your bed and place your hip just off the edge of the bed. And then I want you to grab your knee and tuck it in towards your chest. Then allow your opposite leg to fully relax. So if your leg's not able to get to parallel with the floor, this is a positive test. So test both sides, see which one is more restricted and start with that side. It's also important with this test is to make sure that you don't arch your back. So if you start to feel like you're extending, it's most likely because you're cheating. You're actually trying to gain more range from your lumbar spine where your psoas, part of your hip flexor muscle, actually attaches. And so make sure that you keep that in neutral position when you are doing this test. So now that we found out you have tight hip flexors, let's start with the first stretch. We're gonna do kneeling hip flexor stretch. You're going to either have a pillow or a pad underneath your knee. I wanna make sure that you keep your knee and your upper body in line. So you're not lunging forward in this stretch, you're keeping a neutral position. And what you're gonna do is a posterior tilt of your pelvis. And what I mean by that is just tuck your tailbone underneath, and that will lengthen the front of the hip. You should feel already a stretch through there. Sometimes this is enough. You don't even need to add the other parameters. Now I want you to bring your back foot out to the side a little bit, which creates internal rotation of your hip. That lengthens the hip flexor, your psoas specifically, a little bit more because of where it inserts on your femur. And then lastly, I'm gonna get you to raise your arm, the same side of the leg that's down on the ground, up towards the ceiling and just gently side bend away from that side. And the final tip is your breathing. Your psoas muscle attaches into your lumbar spine, and it's also attached to your lower thoracic vertebrae. Now your diaphragm connects through the back and it attaches also to that area. If we can use your breath by breathing in and out, we can get that expansion and retraction of that muscle to help lengthen it. It's kind of like a pump. So think of it that way, is that we can hold that stretch for 20 to 30 seconds, or we can do the side bend movement as a little bit more like a mobility exercise. So as you reach and side bend, exhale and inhale as you come out of it. The next stretch is the world's greatest stretch. And it really is one of the best stretches because it gets so many areas. So go into a plank position on the ground. You're going to lunge your leg up towards the outside of your hand. You're gonna feel a groin stretch and a stretch through the front of that hip flexor. Now rotate your elbow down towards the ground. I want you to hold that for 5 to 10 seconds. Try to breathe through it and then come out of it and rotate up towards the ceiling. Then go back and do this 5 more times. Then switch and do the opposite side. Now it's really important that after you do flexibility or a mobility exercise that you follow it up with activation exercises. So we're going to do active hip flexion in kneeling. So again, use a pillow, or if you have a foam pad, kneel on that, and then have your hand on the wall or next to a counter for support. Then make sure that you keep a neutral spine, so nice and tall that you're not leaning forward. Contract and lift your front leg up off the ground just a little bit. Hold that for 5 seconds. Slowly drop it back down, rest for 5 seconds, and then do this again. Repeat 10 times. switch and then do the opposite side. And the last activation exercise is a lunge. So I want you to be in a static lunge position where you've got one leg in front and the other one behind. Keep that upper body nice and upright, and then incorporate the pelvic tilt. So you're gonna do a posterior pelvic tilt, tuck your tailbone underneath so you get that lengthening through the front of the hip. Slowly control coming down into the lunge. Breathe through this one, hold for 2 seconds, and then come back up. Start with 5 to 10 repetitions on one side, switch, and then do the other side. So did you get value from these exercises? If so, smash that like button. Now for the fun part. It's always important to go back and reassess your range. So then go back to the table and see if you've increased your range. Try these exercises out daily. They don't take that long to do, and I really think that you'll see the benefits in no time. Next, I have a great video about thoracic mobility that will also just help to incorporate what I've taught you today. So I'll link that up here as well as put it in the description below. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. If it was, please share it with friends and family that you think may benefit. And again, please like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you're not already, and hit that bell to get notified when I post weekly videos. Until next week, bye.